If you watch the media or if you're a follower of politics, it's almost impossible not to notice the bitter divide that exists between people on different sides of politics. And though politics has always been a divisive issue, it appears that the animosity between different sides has become deeper and uglier. This is especially true of American politics today. Pew Research did a survey of 10,000 American adults. They concluded that Americans are more polarized today than ever in history. And although in Australia the divide may not be quite as deep, it seems to be heading in that direction very rapidly. Regardless of the issue, you have people fighting passionately on both sides. And though it's part of democracy to stand up for your beliefs and have healthy debate, do we really want to live in a society that is filled with hostility and acrimony? Where colleagues and neighbours can't get on with each other because they have different opinions? Where politicians on one side of politics can never say a kind word about politicians on the other side? Where if people differ from the government, they feel they must riot on the streets? Nobody really wants this. So what's the answer? It isn't that we all come to the same opinion. That's unrealistic and unattainable. The answer, I believe, is changing our attitudes towards people who differ from us. So I'd like to give 3 suggestions today about how to have an opinion without being opinionated. Number 1, don't join a side. Many people choose to identify with a political or a social wing. When you do that, you tend to listen to people only on that side. This then causes people to feel that they've got to buy into that worldview on all issues. Kind of like a meal deal, you just want the hamburger, but you kind of get manipulated into buying the whole deal. When people stand on the wing, they tend to have a soldier mindset. They feel that it's their responsibility to defend their side at all costs. It's what psychologists often refer to as motivated reasoning. We don't listen to the other side because we've made up our mind and we want our side to win. So number 1, don't join a side. Number 2, focus more on relationships than in defending opinions. Life is not just about being right. It's about relationships. Dale Carnegie once said that 9 times out of 10, an argument ends with both of the contestants more convinced than ever that they are absolutely right. He said it's impossible to win an argument because if you lose it, you lose it. But if you win it, you lose it. Because you may tear down the beliefs of the other side, but you hurt his pride, you make him feel inferior, and a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. People who live only to defend ideas, they end up resorting to sneaky tactics to win arguments. Mockery, insults, exaggeration, deception. Number 2, realize relationships are more important than winning arguments. Number 3, realize that we all have the potential to be wrong. What percentage of the knowledge of the universe do any one of us possess? 0.1%? 0.01%? Is it possible that outside of our knowledge of the universe, there exist facts that could prove that we are partially or perhaps completely wrong? Really is the height of arrogance to assume that we have a monopoly on the truth. By opening our mind to the possibility that we could be wrong, creates a humility, and it dissolves the hostility towards people who have differing points of view. Everyone does what they do for a reason. If an Arab child grows up his whole life hearing that Jews are bad people, that he should hate the Jews, is it any wonder that he hates the Jews? If a Jewish child grows up always hearing Arabs are bad people, you should hate the Arabs, is it really any wonder that he hates the Arabs? If I grew up in that environment, would I be any different? Would you? That's not to say that the hatred is okay. It's not to say that we shouldn't try to change it. But it does do something to help me to understand why people believe what they do. So today I come with a suggestion. Not that we don't hold opinions or that we don't ever participate in healthy debate, but that when we do, we realize that even though we may not respect a belief, we can still respect a person. That life is not about standing on a side and defending that side at all costs. That oftentimes it's more important to win a relationship than it is to win an argument. And that even though we may feel that we are absolutely right, there is always the possibility that we are wrong. Thank you.